China has identified the cause of the mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan city. It's a new type of coronavirus. South Korea is the first country outside of China to report a suspected case.
A Washington state resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
And we have issued guidance on school closures, social distancing, and reducing large gatherings.
By the hour, at least 4 states, including Oregon and Ohio, have now ordered all schools closed. It's a desperate measure.
The message is clear to people all over the world. Stop panic buying and hoarding goods during the coronavirus outbreak. Buying too much
to see in LA famous bumper-to-bumper traffic, but take a look at this LA freeway during rush hour yesterday.
We finally get a glimpse of good news. Pfizer announces they're working on a vaccine, and Oxford and Moderna published promising early results. The White House also established
My name is Michelle Afana, and I am a paraeducator for the Elk Grove Unified School District.
I am Jace. I am a special education teacher for preschool. I'm in the PALS Continuum for Elk Grove Unified.
Bessie Willis. I am a para. I work at Sierra Enterprise with some other compadres. I have worked as a para for the last 3.5 years.
My name is Nicole Fang. So I teach in Elk Grove Unified School District as a preschool teacher.
My name is Pamela Fox, and I'm a paraeducator in the PALS Pre-K PALS program at Fight Elementary in the Elk Grove School District.
Right. Well, I am Travis Porter. I'm a teacher in Pre-K special ed program. I work for Elk Grove Unified School District.
I work with kids, preschoolers with that have autism. So I work in a special day class with 4 other paraeducators and a teacher, and around anywhere from 8 to about 15 kids. We run lessons with them, and they have lunch and recess, and we have 2 classes. We have a morning class and an afternoon class.
We used to teach in the classroom setting, and we have students coming in. We have, a morning gathering, like morning meeting, and then we were able to, check with our students and to see how they're doing. We also teach our lesson in our stations. So we have like very close in physical, interaction with our students in the classroom.
Before COVID, my job entailed going to the site, planning for my class for the day, sometimes for the week. It was a lot of IEP preparedness, lesson preparedness, just getting things set up for the day for the first couple of hours. And then once the classroom started, or class time started, it was going and getting the kids off the bus. We'd take them to the playground for a little bit, let them run off some energy, get ready for their day. Then we bring them to the class. Mainly all of our kids have different goals. So we tailor their lessons to these goals. They get a little bit of everything. That's kind of our motto, is we try to do every aspect of our education every day. And getting them lunch, having lunch in the classroom, working on lessons even during lunch. We would work on either sharing things, like we give them extra little snacks and they could share, or we could have them ask for specific items with their communication systems. And then, we'd have another little recess. We do circle times. We do social activities, art projects.
it feels like more work. It's harder. It's hard work anyway, but it's like you to do this work, you have to have a passion for these kids. So it's just really different now. It's harder. It's harder to keep the kid, like when you're in a station, it's easier. You can block them, put them behind the table, and you got a cabinet here and a cabinet there, and maybe a partition, so they're not getting distracted by their peripheral. You can't do that over the computer. They need a less stimulating work environment. It's really hard. And then if you get a kid whose parents don't speak English, or maybe they don't speak English, that just, on top of everything, we're using translators, on our phones. And I think Michelle and I worked together with a Vietnamese family where she was doing the translating and I was doing the lesson, because it's very hard to do both at the same time and get anything done.
I definitely think it increased. Even though we're not on screen the entire, 6.5 hour day, I still feel like we have extra work when it came to distance learning. One, learning all the technology took days, weeks. I mean, I still feel like I'm still learning about the technology. Not only are we delivering classroom instruction online, we're also working closely with the families. So I feel like I'm having weekly meetings rather than, trimester meetings. I'm seeing them every day, and then I'm meeting with the parents, trying to find times at work. I think that was really hard, is making sure I can still reach out to the parents who can't sign on, and making sure that I'm still giving them the education for their kids, even if I don't see them online. It's a lot more prep time that we're doing. I mean, not only the teachers, even the paras and all the, OTs and specialists, all that extra time that we're not online, we're still working up until maybe even past our contracted time. So it takes a lot more prep to do the distance learning, because we have to send everything home. Nothing can be shared, of course, and it's a lot. I definitely think we got added work for this.
And as far as prep, it's difficult because you couldn't gauge the child's interest. Like when they first come in at campus, you can kind of say, oh, he's not going to want to play with this toy or that toy today. I'll switch out this. Well, you don't have that opportunity during distance learning to have that visual sense or how their attitudes are for the day. You just kind of, you get them on screen and you try to question, oh, are you in a happy mood? And you show them a happy face, a sad face, we try to gauge it there. So it just kind of turns the lessons kind of on the side, instead of it being vertical, where you can see, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. He likes bubbles and bubble wrap and bubbles. Well, I can't give him bubbles on distance learning. I can't give him bubble wrap on distance learning unless mom and dad have it. The only real negative thing, and then it turns into a positive, is the fact that I'm not present to say, no, this is how you allow. I'm not there to physically help them do it, and mom and dad don't understand that for them to be successful and gain confidence, they actually have to physically do it for them the first few times and then back off. But the parents don't have that sense of when to help and when not to help. We kind of have to train the parent to do what we do. And
a lot of the difficulties are, for one, I'm not very tech savvy. So for me, it took me twice as long to learn how to navigate through the whole distance learning. And there were a lot of computer problems, glitches, sometimes your computer would freeze up. And also the kids don't respond as well to you sometimes over Zoom. So it really took the parents, to sometimes have to run the lessons. Also, the program was always changing. So sometimes we would get going on running lessons a certain way or a curriculum a certain way, and then the program would change because for the better. But so we would kind of have to revamp. And so at the beginning, I was very overwhelmed and was working a lot of extra hours because there was so much to do. We had to pretty much like prepare lesson plans.
For reopening, it's kind of scary. I know that our district has stepped up and really they changed out our filtration systems in our classrooms. They've got fogging machines for between classes. They go in there and they fog the class, and it basically settles on all the surfaces and is supposed to kill the virus. I actually just got my second vaccination yesterday, but you know, we prepare ourselves too, so I went and got those. I think we have arrows around campus, so we can only walk in certain directions in certain areas. We have dots for kids to line up on that are color-coded per grade level, I believe. All I know is that mine's blue. We have PPE, we have masks, we have face shields with drapes. We have spray bottles in the classroom, hand sanitizer, lots of soap. The main issue that we're going to have in special ed is a lot of our kids aren't going to be able to wear the masks. So that was the big reasons that I wanted to get the vaccination, was because I'm going to be in a child's space. And it's really hard to keep 6 feet from a 3-year-old. It's just probably not going to happen the way we want it to. And I mean, we prepare as best we can. We have our own bathroom times, we have our own recess times. All of it gets cleaned in between. From what we've been told, it's going to happen that way. So I'm not worried that there aren't safety precautions necessarily. It's just going to be going in and seeing what works and then altering it after the things that we find aren't working.
I'm a little concerned. One, I work with 4 other adults in my class, plus a teacher, and we have to stay 6 feet apart, which I think, you know, we're all responsible. I think we can do it. I have no qualms about that, but I'm just afraid over time I'm going to get lax, and everybody else is going to kind of get lax. Just getting closer to people than, you know, to have your guard up all the time is going to be hard for me. Our kids have a hard time sitting, you know, for any length of time. We're supposed to stay 6 feet apart, and that's just not going to happen with our kids. The biggest thing I think too is bringing it home to my family. You know, I'm worried that, you know, I could potentially infect my family. So all those things do worry me.
You lost the physical contact with the kids, and I always felt that a hug or a pet or a high five was something that they got so excited about. Oh, I did good. And you're not able to give that during distance learning, and I think that kind of took away some of it. But when you place that kind of power in the parents' hands to say, and they witness their kid, wow, you got that right, you did it, you actually did it, yay. And they get to enjoy that feeling of, wow, my son is learning, he's growing. And having that sense of accomplishment right alongside your child, that's immeasurable. So I can't say that it's a negative, that it's learning is a negative, because it shows parents what we do is very important to their child, and that their help in continuing that at home is only going to make their child get better and better and better.
I give that a hard no. I mean, at least we did something. You know, it's not the school district's fault that everything got shut down. I don't blame them, but these kids they are special and they're smart and they learn. I've seen this with my own eyes, what a valuable tool this PALS program is. These kids do better. We get rid of behaviors, they go on to learn and communicate. That's the biggest part. It's just like, no, this is such a cold platform. It's just cold. You can't be warm and fuzzy over Zoom. Most of them sleep into the last moment and then they're getting on Zoom or they come on late, you know, and then they're missing a lot. They're missing, like, we do art on Fridays over Zoom. There's nothing like being in the classroom and helping these kids get dirty and messy and do art and just, you know, that's what it's all about. Getting your hands in there, feeling everything and sensory. And they're not getting that.
Well, one of the things that we've all noticed as teachers is when this whole thing started, everyone was singing our praises, and now they're telling us that we're lazy and we need to get back to work. You know, that's not everybody, but it has been something that I've seen on social media, even within our district, not our teachers or admins or anything like that, but some parents have not been very happy and they've been very vocal about it. I just like them to all know that, you know, most of us don't like working from home. We'd rather be there with your kids. It's, I mean, a lot more fun for the kids to go in and interact with each other. More fun for me. I love playing with the kids. We go and we play on the playground, throw a ball back and forth. It's a good time that we've not been able to do. So I feel like, you know, it's kind of scary to reopen while this is still going on around us, but a lot of us are vaccinated. We've got PPE, and we're going to do it as safely as we can so that we can get everybody back to normal.
I do think it's going to help a lot of the parents. I feel like they have been struggling a lot to sign on, to give their kids the help that they need. A lot of them aren't trained the way we are. So I do think, especially for special education, I think it's there to help the kids. I do. I just don't know about the timing. This might not be the right timing for it right now. But I think it will help. I definitely think the students that aren't signing on, we're going to be able to kind of help them transition back. And then hopefully it'll be enough time that when we come back and, you know, maybe full term in the next school year, there won't be so much of a gap to kind of fill. And I think that's what I'm most worried about my students is when they come back, how many skills have regressed because of our closure. And I think that's my goal, is just to help them come back and be safe and get those skills up and running again so we can kind of bridge all that empty time that they haven't been in school.
As long as I know, our department, they are trying their best to provide all the, you know, the materials and PPEs that we need in order for the staff to, you know, to teach in the classroom setting safely. So I think it's important that they take our staff and also our students' safety as the, you know, priority. So that's a good thing. And also we're able to have a reduced amount of students in the classroom, and then they're taking turns to come into classroom to learn. And then the rest of the students will stay at home. Like they're going to have class over Zoom, and then I think it is safe for them to stay because we have less amount of students in the classroom setting, is the better.
Just weigh everything. Put yourselves in our shoes. Anything that you can imagine you would have to do with your own child, potty training them at home, teaching them to read, to walk, that closeness you have to be with them. There's no 6 feet apart when you're trying to teach a student. There's no 6 feet. That's impossible. So weighing all of that carefully as if it were you.